Welcome back to Friar Talk, everyone. Going with a little quick video after an electric win last night. Got to see Jurickson Profar hit 2 bombs, showed off, himself being the clutchest player in the MLB this season, best high leverage performer so far this year with like a 300-something WRC plus. So electric win. We're sitting here Saturday afternoon, and the Padres trade rumors are starting to kind of start piling up a little bit. We only got a couple so far, but we understand what they're going after, and that's starting pitching. First rumor, we got Garrett Crochet. His name kind of comes up. It had already came up before. We knew that there was interest on the Padres side, but a report came out a while back that he would not be interested in pitching in the postseason unless he gets an extension. Like that kind of came out, and people were a little bit worried, like, okay, well, no one's going to trade for him. Turns out Padres, Dodgers, some of these other teams that are interested in him, they don't really care. They're still trying to get a deal done. So there is still interest from the Padres side in going after him. And we've talked about it. We don't really want to see that deal. We think it's a little bit risky. But either way, that's something that the Padres are at least looking into. Don't know what the level is of that. Don't know what the trade offers are starting to look like yet. Maybe we'll see some of that stuff leak. But either way, they want to trade for him, and that kind of means that they're probably going to try to extend him if they did go get him. He has 2 years of control left. This year he's making $800,000, but he wants to get broken off before he's going to pitch 200 plus innings in a year. So that's kind of the first rumor. The second rumor, Jameson Taillon, he's on the Cubs right now. He's having a good year. He has a sub-3 ERA. He is a guy that the Padres are also interested in, and we've talked about it. If they don't get, Crochet or one of these other top-end arms, they're going to need to get a 4 or 5 starter. Like at the very least, they have to get a starter. They have to get a reliever, preferably 2 or 3 relievers, but they must get 1 starter. Last night, Padres do escape with a win, but Adam Mazur's not cutting it as the 5th starter. And we just saw he got sent down like an hour ago for Alec Jacobs. So we're already seeing them kind of like go, okay, well, he's not gonna be the 5th guy. We've known that. Maybe Brito comes up, but you still need to go get another arm. And Taillon, apparently that's the guy. So I'll pull up his baseball savant right here for you. He's been good this year. I mean, this is this year. His baseball savant doesn't look that good, but you look at his numbers: sub-3 ERA, 1.1 WHIP, 100 innings pitched. He throws mostly a fastball and a cutter. Look, 55% of the time right here. Has 4 of their off-speed pitches that he mixes in. He doesn't walk a lot of guys. He's a very kind of safe pitcher. But the problem is there's 2 problems. One, last year he sucked. He was bad last year. Now he's been in the league for a while. You look at these numbers right here. He's a pretty consistently high 3s, low 4s kind of guy outside of last season. So he's been solid. The only thing that you're kind of wondering about for the Padres side is he a guy that you really want to go after when there are other names on the market? There's Kikuchi, there's Flaherty, right? There's other guys that you can go get that are a rental, where Taillon, he's owed $17 million in both 2025 and 2026. He comes with that hefty price tag. So when you look at a deal for him, you're wondering, okay, is it not going to cost that much to go get him? Is it going to be cheap prospect-wise because of this price tag that's attached with him, because the Cubs don't look that good and they're probably trying to trade off of him and make some adjustments? So maybe that's part of it. You don't have to give up a lot of prospect capital. We know the Padres, they don't have a ton of prospect capital anymore. That after the Cease trade, after the Arise trade, they don't have a lot left. So is that something that maybe they're trying to get him on a little bit of a bargain because of the money? Or are they looking to get him and have the Cubs eat some of that money? The only way I really like a deal with the Cubs in this case is either if they're going to get him pretty cheap and they're just going to keep the contract. I think when you start eating money and stuff, it looks a little bit weird. And I think the Padres would probably have to end up giving a lot of prospect capital. But maybe the idea is we're not going to trade you that much. We're going to get him pretty cheap. We know we're not going to get, we're not going to get Musgrove and Darvish back this year, but we're going to have them back next year. So if we go get this guy, he can be our 4th, 5th starter, depending on where Randy Vasquez is at. He's our back-end starter. And then in the offseason, we flip him. Why? Because we see guys like Nick Martinez getting, $14 million. So his price tag isn't that crazy for the market. It's more just a little bit out of the weird in the Padres situation right now because they have guys that are starters. So maybe the idea is hey, we're going to get this guy. It's not going to cost a lot, and we can flip him and basically get the same prospect capital back in the offseason or next season if there's no injuries, and we come to the year and it's okay, they're fine. They're in a good spot. So maybe that's the idea. I would be down for that. If that's kind of the game plan is we're going to go get him, but we're going to flip. We're going to trade one of our pitchers away after this year. I'm down for that. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's probably the best thing maybe they could do. Now that I was kind of playing that scenario in my head, just because they don't have a lot of prospect capital to work with. Is this the number one guy that we want? No, this guy, Taillon, I mean, we didn't really talk about him at all, but like, he's not a guy that would probably even crack our top 5. Maybe he'd be up there with like Cal Quantrill as a potential like guy that we'd want to trade for. It's not really like a super like, oh, we're getting a lefty starter that's really good. We're getting a righty starter that is balling out this year. Like, he's doing good, but we know what he is. We know what he is. He's solid. So I don't hate it, but there needs to be a game plan to not end up paying this guy for that rest of that contract, whether that's with a deal where the Cubs eat some or if you trade him away. That's kind of what you got to do. But that's overall my quick thoughts on these rumors. We've talked about Crochet. Like, we don't really love the idea of breaking the bank to go get him. But if they want to take a massive swing, I mean, this lineup has been awesome. They need to improve the starting rotation and the bullpen if they're going to make a run. So if they want to take a massive swing, like, I'm not going to be mad. It's going to be fun this year, but I do think it's really risky in that department where you could go with this Taillon deal or a Kikuchi deal or something like that, where you're getting that back end guy and you're just slightly improving your team and putting yourself in a spot to make the playoffs. So it also really depends on what's up with Musgrove and Darvish, or if they're going to come back, which they may not come back. So those are the biggest things, biggest takeaways from me. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back. We'll be going live tomorrow. Make sure to check in with that. Also, we brought it up before, but Underdog, we got a promo code Friar Talk. If you guys want to support the channel, use that as well. Thank you all for listening. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.